Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've released a Canadian housing market video, but now that business has been picking up for me a little bit, and now I'm searching for condos for the first time in a long time for investors, which is weird to say considering what this video topic is about. I want to give everyone a little update. So it is interesting just seeing the capitulation. I don't really know what that means, but I saw a chart that says everyone is capitulating right now. Some of these condo prices, the condo price dropping is insane. I know over the past 3 years since the peak, and I'm going to talk about the peak, prices are down 25%, fine, but not the majority of people didn't buy during the peak. You can't always judge by that. We have to look at averages over the last few years. We are back to 2021 or 2020 prices. It doesn't feel as bad as some of the headlines the media says it does. When we look at the condo market, it is as bad or even worse. Detached, not as bad for me, just based on my experience. But for some reason, I have international buyers coming back to look at housing condo prices because they seem to be dropping and they want distressed sales. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But I just want to show you guys some examples of, I need to go back. I'm not happy when mom and pop or just like normal Canadians lose money. I don't feel bad for the speculators losing money. So people who buy 10 pre-construction condos can't close on any of them and now they're losing a lot of money. I'm going to show you example of a few or just of one that I've just like scouted or saw recently. I'm searching for condos for an investor to buy. They want 5 condos under 500,000. I didn't think that was possible a few years ago. Now it is possible. I am seeing condos under 400,000, which I'll show you. I don't think the money is there for them, but it is a cash purchase. But I'm just gonna go through this. Take a look at this. 800 square feet, 3 bed, 2 bath, which is 3 tiny beds, I guess, sold for 700,000. You're like, wow, this still seems like a lot, but it's a pre-construction. Pre-construction condos sometimes have been building for, let's say 1,500 square feet. So what is this? 1.2 million that someone bought it for. I just want to show you the history of this. So look, it sold for 700,000, but just take a look at the history. Okay, so 3 years ago, during the peak, exactly 3 years ago, tried to sell for 1.275, which is insane. So what are they making? I'm just guessing. They would have made 75,000 or something. I'm just guessing. They tried to, it wasn't selling, so they're trying to lease it at the same time. It did lease for 4,200. And then I guess a year and a half later, since it was leased, they didn't want to sell. They tried to increase the lease. 4,500 didn't work. Reduce the lease to 4,400 didn't work. It's not leasing, so they're like, hey, let's sell it again. But they reduced the price, 1,175, so that's 80K. No, it's 100K, 105. My math is bad. They lease it at the same time for 4,080. Again, a lot lower than what they wanted. Still lower what it initially leased at. I still think this is too much. And then something happened here. So we went from 1,170, we reduced it 70,000. And then a month later, we reduced it 100,000. I'm guessing their mortgage renewal came up. They probably did variable. Their variable went up. I'm not too sure. They're still trying to lease because the tenant left, but they want to increase. It's not working. 4,080 didn't work. 3,900 didn't work. Now they're reducing the price. Again, we started at 1.275. And then we reduced 15,000, reduced 30,000, reduced 100,000. And then I don't know what happened here. They tried to do a bidding war, didn't work, brought it back up, didn't work. I have no idea what's happening. I'm wondering if 950,000 was their purchase price since they're hovering around here. And then it goes down to 845, 835, 740. This is the desperation. This is like, hey, I'm losing everything. I need to get out. It sold for 700,000. Under $1,000 a square foot when they were initially looking for $1,500 a square foot. And I'll show you maybe some of the reason is the maintenance fees. This was a new build. The maintenance fees hasn't been set, but take a look. I don't know what happened in this building, but it's pretty bad. $928. So over $1 a square foot for a new build. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what's happening. Let's look at a 10-year-old building and just see what's happening. So this is on the market for 53 days. It's a 1 bed, 1 bath, listed at 399,000. I just want to show you what's been happening to this one. So 10 years ago, someone bought it for 285. Good price. I guess they lived in it. Oh no, so 304,000. Cool, so this is probably off the buyer, off the builder, 304,000. They tried selling at 479,000. 3 weeks later, 449, that's 30K drop. 2 weeks later, 20K drop. 2 weeks later, 30K drop. I think this is probably gonna sell for 350,000. So this is 575 square feet. So if we sell for 350 divided by 575, oh, what am I doing? 350,000 divided by 575, not minus. We're at $600 a square foot. I just want to talk about why prices have been going up and why some of this is an issue. We're gonna have what, a condo shortage? I don't care about a condo shortage in the future. Maybe a housing shortage. It's just expensive to build, or maybe builders are making too much. I don't mind. I'm happy that the government is not bailing out the builders. They've had a gold rush for the last 15 years, maybe even 25 years. 15 years that I've been in real estate. And now all of a sudden the costs are high. They're not making enough money. They might be losing a little. I don't know. They've been making away like bandits this entire time. This is partly the builder's fault. And I'll show you an example. If we look at in downtown Toronto, I think this is University in Adelaide. This is the Resale building, the Untitled. I thought it was called the United, but I guess it's Untitled. I just want to zoom in. Hopefully my face is not blocking anything. Where's my zoom? I want you guys to look at this. 606,000. You're like, wow, what is this? Is it a 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed? It's a studio, so no bedroom, and it's 307 square feet. Let's do the math. 606, 900. Sorry, this is starting from. Divided by 307. They're selling at $2,000 a square foot. The building costs have increased, partly the government's fault, the development charges and all this stuff. Wages have gone up for the builders, but not enough for people to buy this. This is horrible. I hope none of these sell. Let's take a look at some normal. So this is 912,000 without parking. So take a look. 900 divided by 574. This is 1,590 a square foot, so a lot better. Let's look at something livable. So a 3 bed, I'm guessing it's 3 bed, 3 bath. 1, 2, 5, 4, 900 divided by 815. 1,500 a square foot. This recent one is going to sell, this one in Liberty Village is going to sell for 600 a square foot. This previous one sold for 800. They're selling these new builds at 1,500 a square foot. And then here, this is without parking. So we'll take a look. So parking available for $100,000. Lockers for $10,000. I don't mind that. Maintenance fees. So this is what it should start at. And then like water and hydro or not. So let's say you'll be paying $1 a square foot for this, but something is wrong when a new build like this one is over $1 a square foot, but these ones are starting at 59. Something's wrong. Again, I want to know what this asterisk, okay. Restrictions apply. So this, it's only available to, I think, 2 beds and above. Not everyone can buy a unit, a parking unit, because of how expensive everything is. Now, I want to go back to talking about the peak. Everyone's saying we're down 25% from the peak. Let's take a look at August market stats 2025. The average price is down 5%, which is a lot, 50,000 bucks. But take a look at some of the individual stats. So townhouse is up for some reason, don't really understand, but detached is down 10% in Toronto. But again, take a look here. So we're at 1022 average, but if we go back 5 years, we're at 951,000. So if you don't take into account inflation, we'll still be down on inflation, but this isn't the drop everyone thought it was. I just want to show you some of the exact numbers. So scroll to the very bottom. I'm going to zoom in a little because I have poor eyesight. The peak is 2022. So everyone's like, yeah, we're down 25% from the peak, which is true. But the amount, I feel like the majority of people would have purchased 2020, 2021. You can't just look at this number and saying everyone is losing. For context, I bought in 2012. people were saying there was going to be a crash in 2012. So I've been listening to this for 13, 14 years since I got into real estate. People were saying there was going to be a crash here. So I'm still up 2.5x. I used to be up 3x. It doesn't matter because I'm not selling. So the unrealized gain or loss doesn't matter for the most part. It's paid off. And I'm just sitting on this value. I feel like most people will be looking at that as well. But just take a look. 2020, this is our average. 2021, so we are down from the peak, which is 2022. But when would the majority of people have purchased? A little earlier. Let's take a look at the drop from the most recent months. So let's say our average is 1,080,000 from the peak 1183. What are we looking at? Whoop, hide that calculator. So if I do 1193 minus 1080 equals, come on, divided by 1193. So we're down 9% on average from the peak. But then if you look at specific houses, like the detached is down 25. But again, it's just hard to judge from the peak. It's just cherry picking. Let's look at the average of the last few years. We're still not at, what are we at? 2021 prices. People said that was too expensive. I released a video in 2020 saying houses will be fine. And everyone's like, yeah, it's too expensive. This is going to crash. It's too low. We need to go to 2017 prices. People said that was too expensive as well. So is it still too expensive for people to buy right now? I'll say yes. Vancouver is insanely expensive. Alberta, Quebec are more reasonable. The GTA, still unreasonable for the most part, but is it coming within range? Yes. You know what isn't coming within range for condos? I don't know how they'll ever recover. I don't think condos will ever recover. I do think detached houses will. Of course, no one's building them. We have a shortage of single family residential. We don't have a shortage of one bedroom condos and studio condos. Like, we don't need, where am I? Oh, these are my notes. These are my notes. We don't need the studio condos anymore. I also wanted to talk, I'm not sure if this video is going to take too long. I also want to talk about rents. Rents are falling finally, mainly because there's a limit on the international study permit. So all the students are going away. So we have what, a 20% drop in rents. They're still not cheap. I feel like rents, the average needs to be around 1,500. If you think about it, let me just do some quick math. So if you're making 65,000 a year after tax, you're making 52. So you'd want your housing to be, what, your rent to be like 15,000? Is that reasonable? So you want your rent to be 1,300? That's not reasonable at all. I feel like we have to take this number, 1,600, I guess. You can't take the after-tax amount. You don't want your rents to be even more than like 50% of what you take home after, because you still need to live, you still need to save, you still need to pay off like student debt. If rents would go down another 20%, I think it would be affordable for people. 1,600 for one bed, fine. 2,250, not fine. Part of the reason for this, there are more purpose-built rentals at the same time as international students leaving. So it's like the supply is kind of meeting up with the demand. This is not as important. Like, you know, people are leaving Toronto to find more affordable places to live, but the jobs have to be there as well. And now we have like, what, a 10% unemployment rate. Canada is going to be in trouble in the next few years. What I'm looking at, rents, places outside the GTA have increased, which is confusing because I guess people are leaving Toronto, but then GTA has decreased, which is important. Some of the, what did I want to say? Inventory at 20 months. The costs are too high to absorb, which is Untitled, not United. The developers are struggling and they're releasing all these notes how they want help and bailout from the government because 70% of pre-con investors were, pre-con buyers were investors. And this is because they can put the deposit and lock up a unit without getting a mortgage. You need a note that says you can afford a mortgage, like from a banker, like a pre-approval, but you can always fake those, which is like, you know, faking and lying is ripe within the real estate industry. But yeah, and now the investors are gone because they can't make sense of the math anymore, which is fine. If it could be more mom and pop investors, more mom and pop buyers, even though that's hypocritical because I just said I'm buying units for foreign investors. But yeah, what is this? Bigger condos lose more. So The 3-bedroom condo rents are losing more because the rent doesn't scale up with the size. So a 2-bedroom isn't twice the rent of a 1-bedroom, even though the cost could be a lot more. So the cost to buy a 2-bedroom could be 20% more, but the rent's only 10% more. So there's that. I don't think I want to talk about this. I hid a lot of information here. I'm not sure if this is relevant, but a lot of people say, so this is a condo and it's almost $2 million. People are like, this is too expensive. You can't afford. How can people afford this? I can't afford it. Just because you can't doesn't mean other people can't. I sold this condo without over FaceTime, without the owner seeing it. The maintenance fees are like $5,000 a month. It's something insane. I don't even think they've moved in yet, but if you see some of these numbers over the 1.5 or the 2 million, you're like, yeah, how can a normal person afford this? It's like, these aren't for the normal people. I feel like that's gone forever. Toronto's going to be, or the GTA is going to be forever owners or forever renters. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I feel like that's just how it is. Some people can't afford to buy condos for $2 million cash without seeing them and let them sit vacant. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud about it, but it's just something that people need to recognize and realize. It's like, oh, how can someone with a good job, $150,000, they can't afford this? These aren't for you. I don't think you'll ever be able to afford it. Some people are just on another level, sadly. And detached houses in Toronto proper, I feel like those will be out of reach forever. I think I'm going to end it here. I'll probably release another update near the end of the year. If I were to make a prediction, interest rates will go down 50 basis points. Condos will continue to stagnate and fail. Detached houses will pick up as the rates make things slightly more affordable and everyone who's on the sidelines slowly starts to jump in. I don't think we'll see the big crash in 2025, 2026 that everyone's saying because of mortgage rates. Mortgage rates increased in 2022, 23, 24, but they were dropping. They've dropped a lot for me. I went from 2% to 7%. I was 2% fixed for 4 years. I went to 7% variable, and now I'm at 4.5% variable. If it goes down another 50 basis points, I probably will end up locking in a fixed for 5 years. I think I'll be doing pretty well. I have 3 properties. Two almost paid off. One purchased recently, which I'm kind of struggling with, but it's just the nature of the game. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and tune into the next one.